Our natural world needs to stay in balance. From the time of the Industrial Revolution, the world has been evolving in various sectors such as technology, chemicals, medicines, infrastructure, and more. Development is good, but this rapid growth has directly affected our environment extensively. Strong action is required because apart from the entire ecosystem, it's also affecting humans and our natural habitat. That's why it's become necessary to engage in responsible actions to measure indoor air quality, contaminants, and more. That's where the Environmental Lab comes into play. Now, these eco-labs are responsible for dealing with contaminants that affect the environment, humans, and wildlife as well. It's a matter of life and death. In fact, our life depends on these facilities in a way. Environmental labs test client samples around the world for trace chemical compounds and pollutants. They also provide technical services in which they can analyze these samples with the objective of offering detailed analysis of elements, trace metals, total organic carbon, and more. Here, chemists operate state-of-the-art analytical instrumentation, testing to government, regulatory, and industry standards, ensuring samples remain intact and ready to verify at the highest levels of authority. Analytical capabilities include trace and ultra-trace analysis for hydrocarbons, petrochemicals, metals, contaminants, and other materials. Our communities, societies, and the world at large need facilities like this to help defend the facts and findings that can ensure we understand and address our ecosystem's problems and challenges. So what do they do? Well, in order to detect harmful contaminants at the early stage accurately, the Environmental Laboratory needs to have certain recommended tools in their arsenal. Here are just some of the essential categories of equipment that you can find in an eco-lab. Biofuel and biodiesel analyzers, elemental analyzers, environmental monitoring equipment and systems, fluorescence spectroscopy, gas chromatography equipment, hyperspectral image analysis, as well as laboratory balancers and evaporators. There are adventures and misadventures ahead, of course. Climate change in general has led to increased demand for environmental research facilities at large. This puts a squeeze on demand, but it also explains a growth in the environmental testing industry. From $10 billion in 2021 to $16 billion projected for 2026. We can see that funding and support from governments is essential though. Carrying out missions of environmental labs can be sensitive for health, economic, and even political reasons. That's why scrutiny from politicians or state-sponsored and industrial espionage are risks not only for the outputs of these facilities, but they're also a risk for the people working in them. Just so we know, an environmental testing lab is responsible for dealing with contaminants that affect the environment, humans, wildlife, and more. These labs need only the most advanced tech and experienced researchers. Our livelihoods and our lives depend on environmental testing facilities to help defend facts and determine the future of our society. Lab Insider supports the men and women, no matter what their role in the lab is, for helping to defend and champion humanity's obligation to our natural world. Thank you for watching, and thank you for those who support our environment. That's all for now in our special episode. Be sure to click and subscribe for more.